Hey, ladies and gents, and welcome to episode 15 of the Controlled Interest Gamecast, where we talk about video games and everything happening in the industry. As always, I'm joined by Jordan.
The hype is strong with this one.
And Dominic.
Hey, what's up?
Last week we talked about the first three press conferences happening at E3. Now we're going to be talking about the two major ones and everybody else. Microsoft, Sony, and then Square Enix and everyone else is going to be at other people's shows and stuff. So, we're going to get into what we've been playing. I've been really busy this week. I didn't have a chance to really play anything. So I got no progress on Quantum Break. I got no progress on Overwatch. I really didn't have time to play anything. But I did watch Bo Burnham's comedy special, Make Happy, which was fantastic. Jordan and I were talking about it before the show. Great. I still like What more, but I absolutely loved Make Happy. And I also saw Kingsman, which I should have seen a long time ago. Great movie. Great take on the spy genre. It's cool that somebody took a twist like Austin Powers used to. Obviously that was super comedic, but this is a cool twist on spy movies, which I think are kind of old fashioned now and kind of decaying, and I like this resurgence of a new twist on it. So I didn't really play too much, but I did watch two really cool things. So what about you guys? What did you guys play this week?
So this week I finished up Doom, which I was very satisfied with. The game was a ton of fun. So stay tuned, and we might have more on Doom later on in the form of a more formal review. But I also played Gone Home this week, which I was a little bit underwhelmed by, actually. First walking simulator I've ever played. So I actually really liked the genre and how the story was told, and it was interesting through most of it, but the ending really fell flat for me, and it was just kind of lame, I guess, ultimately. But I'm looking forward to trying more of these kinds of games out, regardless. So it was good. It was okay. I also finished up the Far Harbor Fallout 4 DLC. So Far Harbor was a lot better than most of the quests in the main Fallout 4 game. I'll say that. Like, some of the decisions they make you make are really morally gray. That's what makes these kinds of games interesting, is making those tough choices. So.
I was going to say, if you enjoyed Gone Home, some people bashed it, but I personally really liked Everybody's Gone to the Rapture on PS4.
That's one I do want to check out next.
Yeah, that's another walking simulator, if you want to call them that.
People also like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which I don't know if it's on consoles or not, but you play on PC, so you might want to check it out.
That one's pretty cool, but I was pretty underwhelmed by that one, actually. And, it's a lot of puzzling and stuff like that, and to me, honestly, a lot of it didn't even make sense, and it's kind of just convoluted, so that one's a maybe for me as far as recommendation. But as far as what I've been playing, as I said, the hype is strong with me. I am super excited for E3, as we'll see later on in the show. But before we get to that, I must apologize, friends, because I am a damn dirty liar. I said that I was going to turn on my PS3 and play some Persona this week, and I did no such thing. So I want to apologize to the world. I will be playing this game at some point. It will happen, and I'll be damned if I don't finish that before episode 20. But anyways, what I have been playing, obviously played a bunch more Blood and Wine with The Witcher this week. Still loving it and enjoying it. And the issue I had with it not locking on anymore in combat, apparently I'm not the only one having that. That's going to be a big part of the next update. So there's that, but then there's also a nice little money exploit that I found, which really just saves me time. It doesn't, change the game, make it easier or anything like that. So that was nice. And then, other than that, I haven't played a whole lot of games, but part of the hype being so strong, I saw an awesome Watch Dogs 2 trailer yesterday, which I guess you guys watched as well. So I started playing Watch Dogs, and you know what, guys? This is another Assassin's Creed Unity situation where there were some issues at launch, and there was some stuff that people weren't so happy about with the game, and I think people misjudge this game. I mean, I'm really enjoying it so far. I don't know why people were so disappointed by the hacking and stuff. It already seems like it's cool, and it seems the game that I thought I was getting from the previews at those E3 conferences is the game that I'm playing, so I'm not really disappointed in that sense. So yeah, I'm giving this game a really good chance because, like I said, people kind of crapped all over it, and I don't think it deserved that. I think most of it was really about the graphical downgrade, and I'm looking at it now like, dude, this game looks totally good. I mean, it's no Uncharted 4 or infamous Second Son, but no one will ever reach the heights of the real life Seattle that Sucker Punch made. But still, I think it's a beautiful game, and I think people were just like bullshitting when they were saying that the graphical downgrade was that bad. And then speaking of Watch Dogs, a kind of a similar game. I got a little shout out to make real quick. My boy Logan Hunt, who doesn't play video games, he and I were chilling out, and I was telling him about this hip hop artist that's named Nico Is to type into Spotify, and instead of that, he typed in Nico Bellic. So Nico Bellic's also getting a shout out from GTA 4, coming all the way from Not America. I don't know where he's from because I don't play GTA, but yeah, I thought that was really funny. I was like, wait, you don't even own a video game console, and you just like shouted out this deep cut protagonist from GTA 4. What the hell?
I think he's from Romania. I think.
Yeah, something like that. So Nico Bellic and my buddy Logan are getting shout outs today.
Awesome. Really quick before we get into the Microsoft conference, because I want to jump into it. Watch Dogs, the first one, it just didn't seem like something that would capture me. It seemed very the theme and everything just seemed very boring and bland.
That's why I held off on it for so long.
The new one looks really cool. I like the upbeat. I like the protagonist being partly like a parkour guy. It looks really cool. Looks really interesting. I still want to see a little bit more on it before I pull the trigger on Watch Dogs 2, but it does seem like it's moving in a better direction, personally.
Yeah, I think they're changing a lot up with this one just because of how many complaints people had with the first one. So
yeah, let's get into Microsoft's conference. First thing on the list, we're going to be talking about the new 2 Xboxes we're going to be seeing in the next year or so. The Slim Xbox One that's reportedly coming out this fall, and what we're going to call, it's known as Scorpio, that's not what we're going to call it. It's the Xbox Big Boy, which is supposedly coming out next year. So let's get some real quick thoughts on the Slim and the Xbox Big Boy. For me, I think the Slim, I think it's probably a guarantee. Xbox is known for, I guess both consoles are known for making slimmer models. It's not nothing too crazy. It's not surprising. It's not going to wow anybody. It seems like it's going to have a lot more memory, which is a huge thing considering a lot of people are going more digital, so that's awesome. And then the Xbox Big Boy, I have high hopes for it. I'm coming to the point where my Xbox isn't necessarily working at peak performance, so by late next year, I could look into maybe getting the more powerful Xbox One. So definitely is viable. Yeah, and I think that we're gonna see some cool stuff with them. What do you guys think? Redesigns, anything?
So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious they're going to do a Slim, and the Scorpio Big Boy deal looks like it's happening as well. Some of my predictions are going to be the exact prices, and times are going to see that stuff, so I'll hold off. But I was thinking about this yesterday, or rather a few days ago, as I was playing Doom, which I played on PS4 instead of PC, and it made me realize that after each time I died, I had to wait at least a minute for everything to load. So, point being, I hope in these new, bigger consoles, they actually start using SSDs instead of hard drives, so that loading times just get, like, fractioned. That is one of the biggest advantages of PC gaming is if you use an SSD, then none of your loading times are nearly as long as they are on console. So hopefully they put some SSDs in these new guys. Even if it's going to cost more, I think it'd be worth it.
I hear a lot of people talking about having really great PCs, and sometimes, like, for example, Witcher, they wouldn't even have to load. Like, they'd hit a fast travel point, and they'd initiate it, right, and then it would fade to black, and they'd be in the next place. Like, that's how this shit should be, because I think that's what a lot of people thought we were getting with PS4 and Xbox One generation, and that didn't turn out to be the case.
And that's the standard right now, like in the computer industry. Like, you can't buy a computer nowadays pre-built without an SSD. That's unheard of.
Yeah, I think it's weird because you look at, ever since we left the cartridges behind, I think over the generations of video games, the loading screens have just gotten longer and longer, really.
Oh yeah,
which
games
is
have gotten bigger, but
sure, it's understandable at least, but it's definitely not something you want to stick around, you know.
Mm-hmm. Although maybe Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you can put an SSD in a PS4 now. I know you can replace with bigger hard drives, but I don't think
I
you
don't
can
think it's
put
compatible. No.
an SSD in them.
No,
Yeah,
you can. It just has to be the same size. The biggest thing is that a lot of people have done tests on this. Shout out to like Digital Foundry and some of those guys, even IGN. But yeah, they've shown that even if you do, like, let's say you spend an extra $100 on your hard drive, you're not like the amount of time that you're saving in the loading screens is like maybe a second. Sometimes it doesn't even change it, so it's you can do it in a PS4, but it's so negligible that you're just wasting money.
that would explain the decision then to not put one in there when they built it.
Yeah, it's probably just not built around that, which once again, Sony with their awesome foresight here.
Do you guys think the Xbox Slim will just be a smaller, like, rectangle box, or do you think they're going to go with something interesting as far as the redesign?
I actually think that's a big part of this because they know how much people hate the actual hardware of the current Xbox One, and they also know that they don't yeah, the look of it. Well, and also like it's just clunky size. It's takes up too much space, and a big thing is like even back in PS3, I don't know about the fat PS3, but the PS3 Slim and Super Slim, they never had power bricks. You haven't had a power brick since PS2 as far as I can remember, and you know, Microsoft's always had power bricks, so can they just get rid of the power brick? Like, talk to Sony about it? I don't know. It should be, like, done by now.
This is just one of those things, and that's the way that it is because Sony's a hardware company. So they have a little bit more, experience making hardware, where is Microsoft is the software company. So that's why you see their UIs are usually a little bit nicer.
Okay, so we're going to be getting into the first party games and the exclusives. So first up, Gears 4. For me, I don't think there's a lot to say. I think they're going to show a level of the game, a mission. Maybe not the whole thing, obviously, but a section of it. You're going to get some interesting dialogue between the new characters, all three new protagonists. You get a little bit feel for their personality. You're going to see some gameplay of the game. It's probably going to be towards the end of a level where you see like a mini boss or something, just to show like the impressiveness of the game. And then I think that's it. I don't think we're getting too much after that because we got the teaser last year. I think there needs to be gameplay and a little bit of character introduction to this new cast of people. What do you guys think?
Microsoft's a tough call, not just because I'm more of a PlayStation guy, but just because they're the wild card here. You know, they're the ones that are kind of the underdog in this situation because Sony's outselling them so much. So I almost have a tough time gauging them just because they could go either way. They could just come out of left field and be like, all right, you know, we're gonna capture your attention with this big thing right here.
Do you think they'll show anything else than what I stated down for Gears 4? Do you think that's pretty much it? That's what we can expect?
Yeah, I expect the same for Gears 4. So
I think you'll get a solid. Last time it was like 2 seconds of gameplay last year for Gears 4, and I do think you will get several minutes this time. Maybe
it'll be their headliner for sure. I think. Scalebound. Hopefully, it runs better. I hope that they find a tone for this game. It seemed like the tone was all over the place. Personally, it was trying to be serious and then trying to be like Sunset Overdrive-y, like very playful. I think they need to find a tone, and maybe that is a tone bouncing back and forth. I want to just see more of the game itself. I don't know if I want to buy it or not, but I think Scalebound will have some time. I don't think they'll show anything that'll blow us away, but they probably will show that the game can actually run now, right?
Oh. That would be nice, yeah.
That was the biggest issue with everyone is they said it looked like it wasn't running. It was running poorly, which I don't think it was running atrociously. But yeah, you could see that it wasn't running at peak performance or something you would want to show at a conference. Like it wasn't awful.
But then they delayed that to 2017, anyways, right? So that's probably I guarantee that was a big part of it.
So 2 quick indie games that are going to be shown below in Cuphead. I want release dates already. Both of these games look fantastic. I just want to know when I can play them. One of the rumors is obviously Cuphead. Microsoft put a lot of money behind it after they saw the reaction of people, and they went and changed the game. Like we saw a new trailer a couple of months ago, where instead of it just being where we were worried it was just going to be boss fights, they added this whole overworld and platforming levels and stuff. So they definitely made the game more than what it was originally intended to be. And I just want release dates, man. I want to play Below already. I want to play Cuphead already. I just want release dates.
I think you'll get Cuphead release window this fall, and below release date late summer, like August or
I
September.
honestly think they might have a thing going where it's not necessarily summer games that they used to have on Xbox Live, but I think there will be a grouping of indie games. The new game from the guys who made Limbo, which I don't remember the name, that they showed off last year, and then below, yeah, I definitely think Cappy Games.
I think that was 2 years ago. The one where the kid's running through the dystopian gray future. Yeah, and then there's those like little bits of red.
Also to that, Behemoth, the guys behind Castle Crashers, their game has been in development for a while. Their game 4. On the wiki it said it was titled Pit People, which I wasn't familiar with it already having a title. That could be shown too. I think they might have the little indie spot where they show off these games that are coming up within relatively the next year, so that's not surprising. Halo Wars 2, it's I think this is going to be one of the first exclusive games that's going to be, or not one of the first, I guess Quantum Break did, but I think this is definitely going to be Windows, pushed heavily on Windows 10 just because that's where the audience is for those type of RTSs. But it has a huge cult following, so I think Halo Wars 2, I think it'll ship this year. What do you guys think? Do you think Halo Wars 2 is a fall game, or do you think they'll push it out? What do you guys expect for Halo Wars 2?
I'm putting in my vote for fall.
I'm thinking 2017. I don't think that game. I think we would have heard more
Well, I don't
about
think
it
you
by
necessarily have to say more about it. I think that isn't a game that isn't an actual standalone Halo game. I think it's a game that people who are into that. Like I think console people know that RTSs aren't really the go-to genre on consoles. So I think headlining shows and stuff like that, I think this is a game you show off when it's about to release,
On that same note, didn't XCOM 2 just get announced?
Yeah,
It's coming to
which
consoles?
is really awesome.
Yeah,
that's a game
that's
I've
a
wanted
big
to
one.
play for a while, and it's cool it's coming to consoles. Recore. This is a game that's slated for 2016. This is the Armative game. Not much is known about it. Armature. Sorry. It looks interesting. It looks cool. I want to know more about it. People are saying this is like replacing the mid-tier games and stuff like that, but I do think this can be a sleeper little fun time. By no means do I think it's going to be like a 10 out of 10 or anything, but like I do think this could be a surprise game that people latch onto if it's made well, so we'll see with that. Would you guys have any expectations for Recore? Do you guys remember the trailer of like the girl with the dog thing?
I gotta watch it again because I don't even really remember it.
Yeah, she's taking cores out of certain robots.
And there's like a
put them
bunch
into
of like
different ones.
animalistic robots.
Oh,
Yeah.
Recore.
Right,
And I think
yeah.
that's a huge mechanic of the game is like getting different robots for different actions. Like if there's a gorilla one, it's probably to push something or break something. The dog's probably for like stealth-based gameplay. It looks really interesting, depending on how they do it. Crackdown 3. Jordan said this before the show. This game needs to come out already. I personally agree with a lot of people saying that this game missed its mark. A lot of times I forget about it. I didn't play Crackdown. Didn't play Crackdown 2. It's not a Microsoft exclusive IP that I always think about. I think it's very forgettable personally. I just think it's like a stylized fun time, but it looks very generic to me most of the time. Are either of you guys excited for Crackdown 3?
Nope.
I think I'll play it when it's pretty damn cheap, probably, if I just want to bounce around in an open world, but that's kind of what that game is. It's not, it doesn't seem like it has a bunch of story or deep characters or anything like that. I know that the first two games weren't like that.
It reminds me of Just Cause 3 that just came out, where there's kind of, you could have some fun and do some goofy stuff in there, and there's some good physics and whatever, and attach those little rocket propellers and make things go flying or whatever. But ultimately, it's not something I want to pay $60 for, to just mess around and get bored after an hour type of thing.
That's exactly how I played Just Cause 3. Was like the story was like dog piss, like it was terrible. The game was really fun, and the open world was cool to interact with and fly around in. But yeah, eventually I just got bored with it because that's all it is just taking over outposts and blowing stuff up. And I think Crackdown's probably pretty similar.
So we have quite a bit still left on the list. We're going to go some quick hitters, and I want some quick responses on these. So Rare Sea of Thieves. This is like the multiplayer Rare game where it's pirates at sea. We rarely know anything about it. I think we're going to get a huge gameplay reveal of what exactly goes on. I think they might do the thing where they pull people on stage and they play it and they have a good old time, and it's like that kind of thing. What do you guys think?
That's probably a good idea for that one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're having fun together. We're pirates.
They're definitely going to show something about it.
Yeah, definitely. So also Turn 10, do you think they're going to have some Forza stuff there this year?
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
something with Forza. Really quick here, these are some... we have one more thing.
They're going to drop a Ford car out of the roof like they did last year. Just have it beam down from the top of the ceiling.
God, just like EA had Pele talk about soccer for 10 minutes. Because that's what we wanted at Gamers Conference. So, really quick, Capcom Vancouver, there was a leak recently of a Dead Rising 4 poster. People speculate it's going to be... Frank West is on the poster. People aren't sure if this is a remake, reboot of the first game, or if this is a actual new title. It takes place in the same place in Colorado where the first game took place. So that could be a huge thing. Dead Rising 3 was a launch title that suffered from being a launch title. I think that game could have been a lot better if it wasn't forced to be made so quickly to be turned out for the console release. I think that game just had a ton of launch game issues. What else here? So that's everything that's quote-unquote confirmed. We're going to go through some speculation real quick. Are we going to see the Fable card game that Microsoft hired some of the ex-Lionhead studio guys to make, or will we see anything of that?
Probably, yeah.
I think that's a good Grace move, right? We hired these guys. They're still working here. We're making something Fable-related. Saber Interactive, the guys who did the Halo Anniversary Edition, haven't worked on anything since. They made that game and then nothing since. Do you think they'll have something? Do you think they have a remake or a reboot of a last-gen game?
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's kind of just a wild card, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doubting that, but...
Undead Labs, the guys who made State of Decay, the hugely popular game, State of Decay, their new project, Class 4, has been in development for a while, since 2013. They did take some time off to make the Year 1 edition of State of Decay for next gen, or current gen, rather. Do you think we'll see anything from Undead Labs? A teaser, anything, a name?
Yeah, we're probably getting close to that, I would say. I think that's about ready.
Yep. Battletoads. It's the Crash Bandicoot of Microsoft. Do you think there will be anything with Battletoads? I think everything that was, talked about in the t-shirt and everything, I think that had to do with the Killer Instinct character. It's not a
Rare Replay.
Yeah, it's not a franchise that resonates with anybody enough to Crash at least I think has a lot more of a following than Battletoads.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, Battletoads to me was always an inside joke. Like, people would call GameStop asking for Battletoads and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's almost more of just a cult following joke type thing at this point.
Speaking of cult following, Conker. People want to see something with Conker eventually. He was actually in what's the game that was recently canceled for Microsoft?
Make your own damn Conker game in Project Spark.
Yeah, Project Spark. So people really want something with Conker. This is something that I thought of that I was doing my research on this conference for. So Blue Dragon was a JRPG that came out in 2007. It was bundled with 360s in Japan and sold very well. It actually sold quite a bit of 360s in a market where Xbox is known for not doing great in. It would be interesting to have a sequel to Blue Dragon and have it bundled with Xbox Ones with the new Slim model that fits kind of like the societal norms for Japan of having smaller things in their households because they don't have a lot of space. So you want to get a console into people's hands in Japan and other places, you bundle your new Slim, with a franchise that the Japanese market actually enjoyed. So it's not too far-fetched to see a Blue Dragon remake or reboot or sequel and bundled with Slims. I think it's an interesting idea at the very least, right?
I agree.
So that covers everything with Microsoft. We'll have our predictions later in the episode. And we got through a lot of stuff there, a lot of good stuff to talk about.